Hi Year 11, me again. So hopefully now you have a fairly good handle on your ability to write character descriptions and place descriptions. So this time we are going to solely focus on comparisons, okay, because that will be your final task for this assignment, which is called Then and Now, hence my lovely colourful slide there. Sorry, there aren't very many of them, but there are some. So your final piece of writing for this topic will be a comparison of either a person, so how they are now or how they used to be. You can interpret that as you like, however, or a place. It could be summer, winter, now and then, or however you want to compare them. So you're effectively doing a piece of writing that has two halves, preferably the sides are fairly balanced, okay, otherwise it's not a very good comparison. You can do a comparison of the two, like a person in a place, but do come and talk to me about that if you do consider it. Anyway, we're just talking about the skills at the moment. We're not actually starting the writing piece because that all has to be done in class, and we will start that on Tuesday next week. Right, with a comparison, one of the major things that you need to think about is tenses, okay, meaning past, present and future tense. Now, this task will require you to change tenses, okay? You'll either be speaking in the present to the past or something along those lines, okay? It can be very tricky if you're not aware that you're doing it, and quite a few people, even today I spoke to, talk about walking into the room and then they saw something. Okay, so they've changed tenses, so it's something you really do need to be aware of, and you need to edit, look for in your editing when you're finished writing. The way that you avoid these issues for the most part is that you consciously make a decision about which tense you're going to use. Okay, if you say, right, I'm going to write a story in the first person, it's going to be set in the present tense, then you are much more aware of the verbs that you're using, because verbs are the words that show tenses. Alright? As an example, past, present and future, for those of you that didn't get these at primary school, here we go. I walked, I walk, and I will walk. Okay, so for a lot of words, the words around them actually indicate the tense. If you stuff up the words around them, like the will, then it obviously changes the tense. This is an issue for people who like to miss out words in their creative writing. I strongly recommend that you put too many words in and then edit out rather than not write enough. Okay, same as I had, I have, and I will have. An example of a past tense change is have been, being and will be. Okay, so if this is news to anybody, watch this again. Okay, usually past tense words will have an ed on it, or the word has changed in general. Alright, present tense words tend to be the ing. Okay, other than tense, there are a few more things that you need to consider when comparing two people or two places. Okay, you need to consider that you describe some of the same elements. If you were to describe our English classroom in a happy way and talk about, the bright blue stripes and the happy students and, the lovely, images on the walls, I know I'm being a bit generous here, and then turn around and say, the dull grey carpet, the grey walls, the overflowing rubbish bin, and that sort of thing, then you don't even know it's the same room, so there's no point in comparing. It's better to be able to compare something in a positive light with the same thing in a negative light to really show the difference between the two. Okay. The other thing to consider is to carry over some imagery. Okay, so if you describe, I can't even think of an example. If you describe the classroom as a school bus that's going and going and going in a positive light, then you need to maybe consider talking about a broken school bus where it's you're no longer learning, or something along those lines. So you can either continue on an extended metaphor being something that is carried over the whole text, or you can refer to a metaphor or simile that you've used but change it. It's quite a clever thing to do, and it can be really effective, so maybe give that a go. It might not be something you write out originally, but it might be something you add into your editing. Okay, the last thing that you need to consider, of course I've probably missed a million things, and good creative writers will probably pick them up, but the last thing I want you to really think about is whether you can describe the mood of each part of the text that you'll write before you begin. So is it going to be a happy memory and a sad reality today? You know what I mean? So if you can't do that, if it's just going to be a place and then another place and you don't know what mood you're going for, then it's going to be very difficult for you. So that is my challenge to you. Figure out what you're aiming for, who your audience is. All of the stuff is very important when you are writing. So a quick recap. Your final topic will require a comparison, probably between two different times, and either of a person or a place or both. Okay, you will need to ensure that you do not mix up your tenses and that you're very aware of what words show tense and which tense they are placed in, okay, past, present or future. You'll also need to consider what is similar and different between the two parts of the text, and which things you will re-describe but in a different way, and which things you will change, which of course links right through to your imagery and your language features that you use. Once again, consider the little things that show a lot about a place, and that is likely to help you give a vivid description that's a really interesting comparison. So what I want you to do now is go back through this, and I just want you to make some key notes on tense, okay, why you need to know about it, and I want you to write down the things from the last slide that we just had, the things that you need to consider, okay? This is to help you remember this, and of course we will be recapping all of this tomorrow with the activities that I give you to do. So this isn't a particularly long video, and I hope it is helpful, and I will see you all last period tomorrow. We'll also be covering some things for exams tomorrow, so get here on time, work hard, and we'll ensure you're sorted for next week. Okay, see you later, Year 11.